And I'll clear you. Okay. Wouldn't you know it?
I'll just raise my hand.
All right, one more time. There you go. And very good. And so the motion passes 4-0 to 2 with Commissioner Savage and Chairman Rossler abstaining. Very good. Well, that wasn't too difficult. So.
For me, it was.
Ms. Chow, any changes to our agenda tonight?
Good evening, Chairman. No changes tonight. Thank you.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item on our agenda is oral communications. This is a time that the commission sets aside for members of the public to address the commission on items that are not on our agenda. I have no speaker slips. Anyone wishing to address the commission under oral communications? If not, we'll move on to our public hearing. Our public hearing process is the following. Staff will make a presentation. The applicant will be given some time to expand on it or further explain the project. We will open it up to the commissioners for questions. I will then open the public hearing. If you wish to speak, I need a speaker's slip to call on you. I'll then close the public hearing. We'll open it up to commissioner discussion, and then we will try and use our voting machine again one more time. So that's our process. Rafi, the floor is yours tonight. Nope.
Is it supposed to go green? Oh, there we
There you
go.
go.
All right. The project before you tonight is for a reciprocal parking agreement, project number P21-0283. The project location is located off South Melrose Drive, just south of Faraday Avenue. Project area is approximately 1.4 acres in size, is one legal parcel, and is currently vacant land. This is a current aerial photo of the site, which is vacant land. Site is surrounded by the Hyatt and residential uses to the north and commercial and industrial uses to the east. General plan designation is general commercial, GC. This use allows for commercial uses, banks, grocery stores, and restaurants. The zoning of the property is currently Vista Business Park specific plan and is within Area C of that specific plan. Permitted uses in this zone are commercial uses, retail, and restaurants are allowed. Proposed project is for a special use permit inclusive of a site development plan and reciprocal parking agreement. Building number 1, Dutch Brothers Coffee, is going to be a quick serve restaurant, which is for takeout or drive-through only. It will be 1,050 square feet in square footage. Facade will include decorative lighting, cement siding, masonry finishes, and architectural details to enhance the property's aesthetic. Hours of operation are going to be 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily. Building number 2, tenant is to be determined. This will also be a quick serve restaurant, but it will have sit down and drive-through services with indoor and outdoor seating. This building will be 2,660 square feet in size. Facade will include decorative lighting, cement siding, large windows, and architectural details to enhance the property's aesthetic. Hours of operation will be determined once a tenant is secured. Parking, there will be a total of 34 parking spaces, 19 on-site and 15 off-site. Section 18.54.130 in the Vista Development Code allows for reciprocal parking facilities for 2 or more land uses which experience their most intense periods of use at different times of the day. Applicant has drafted a reciprocal parking agreement for both properties, which will be recorded on the deed for each parcel. This is the site plan that shows parking areas that are shaded in gray, buildings shaded in red, and the drive-through lanes shaded in green. The primary site access will be a shared driveway off South Melrose Drive with the Hyatt Place Hotel. Additional access can be utilized through a shared parking and access agreement with the proposed Hilton Hotel to the south. Landscaping is going to cover 17.7% of the site, which exceeds the 15% minimum requirement per the Vista Business Park zone. Use of native and non-native plants and materials will be used that will require low or moderate water usage. This is the proposed floor plan for building number 1 of the Dutch Brothers Coffee. And this is the conceptual floor plan for building number 2, which is to be determined. Proposed elevations, this is a 1-story building for Dutch Brothers Coffee, building number 1. Maximum height is going to be 24 feet. The proposed architectural design of this building is considered contemporary, utilizing a variety of modern facades, offsets, and roof lines. The building will feature a variety of architectural enhancements, including a raised tower element, protruding canopy, fiber cement siding, steel awnings, stone veneer finishes, and aluminum storefront windows. Building number 2 will be a 1-story building as well, maximum height 24 feet. The proposed architectural design of this building is also considered to be modern, with modern facades, offsets, and roof lines as well. The building will feature a variety of architectural enhancements, including a widened parapet framed around wood-colored fiber cement siding, steel awnings, large aluminum storefront windows. Parking will include 19 on-site parking spaces and 15 off-site spaces as previously stated. Reciprocal parking agreement is allowed per section 18.54.130 in the Vista Development Code. 15 parking spaces are on the southern property and will be limited to a maximum of 2-hour parking. Peak hours, hotel peak hours are during the daytime hours, and drive-through restaurant off-peak hours are during the evening hours. This combination of uses constitutes off-peak hour operations, which is the prerequisite for reciprocal parking facilities. To memorialize this parking arrangement, the applicant has drafted a reciprocal parking agreement for both properties, which will be recorded on the deed for each parcel. CEQA threshold for a traffic study for vehicle miles traveled is 50,000 square feet or more. The proposed project square footage is less than 50,000 square feet, not meeting this threshold. City of Vista Transportation Impact Analysis Guidelines. This notes that proposed project will generate roughly 2,000 average daily trips, which exceeds the city's threshold of 400 average daily trips. Therefore, a local transportation study was required. A traffic study was completed by Kimley Horn Associates. LTS concluded that the project impacts a level of service threshold of significance. LTS also found that it is not physically possible to improve the nearby intersection. Developer will pay an estimated $58,000 in traffic fees to improve overall traffic systems for the city of Vista. General plan, as noted before, is general commercial, allows for retail, restaurants, and various other uses. Vista Business Park specific plans development standards. Note the building height in that zone is allowed to be 45 feet or 3 stories. The proposed project, as noted before, it will be maximum 24 feet and 1 story. Parking required is 31 parking spaces, and applicant is providing 34 parking spaces. There is adequate queuing for drive-through facilities pending a special use permit application. Staff is supportive of the reciprocal parking agreement due to usage of the parking spaces during off-peak hours for the proposed hotel during the day and off-peak hours for the restaurants at night. Landscaping, as noted before, minimum standard is 15% for the Vista Business Park and is required, and the applicant is exceeding that with 17.7% of landscaping site-wide. Basis of approval, Vista Business Park Specific Plan, Area C, allows for all uses set forth in the C1 commercial zone within Section 18.38 of the Development Code. Drive-through restaurants are noted in this section and require consideration of a special use permit per Section 18.38.020, Section 24. The intent of the special use permit process is to minimize potential impacts generated by this proposed use. The proposed use in the matter to be conducted is permitted in the applicable zone and will conform to applicable federal, state, and local laws or regulations. The proposed use is consistent with the general plan and any applicable specific plan. All required on-site parking improvements are included with the project design, and the subject site provides adequate parking and circulation to accommodate the proposed use. Staff's recommendation is to adopt a resolution approving a special use permit, inclusive of a site development plan and reciprocal parking agreement for the development of 2 drive-through restaurants located on South Melrose Drive at that APN number. And that does conclude staff's presentation.
Is the applicant here, and do they have a presentation?
Applicant is present. There is no presentation from the applicant tonight.
All right, very good. Then we'll go to questions of staff and the applicant. Commissioner Grimm.
Yeah, this question's for Rafi. Your queuing reduction that the ordinance allows to reduce parking based on queuing, does that used very often? And if so, has there been any problems with it? I mean, does anything come back to haunt you guys on that?
I'm not sure about other projects, but the queuing space is 4-to-1 as noted in the staff report. We believe that applicant is reducing the number of parking spaces required by the queuing space. I believe, I don't have the specific numbers in front of me, but they are allowed to reduce the parking count with the queuing space credits 4-to-1.
Okay, so from your perspective, it hasn't really generated any problems?
Not from projects that we're aware of or that I'm aware of.
Commissioner Grimm, there's been several projects, similar drive-through facilities. They've all experienced and utilized this particular section of the code, and to my knowledge, no, that has not been an issue.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Garrettson.
So the queuing on Melrose to make a left turn on Faraday, if you're going north, if you're going north on Melrose and you want to turn left on Faraday, there's queuing there for maybe, 10 cars? Will this exceed that to the point people trying to make a U-turn to get into this to where it's going to block northbound Melrose traffic? Because there is no U-turn sign there.
Right, and I did speak to our traffic engineer, and he was confident with the intersection being able to handle the traffic for the 2 drive-through restaurants. And I believe this is the intersection you're talking about.
Correct.
Faraday Avenue, South Melrose, looking north. And he was confident with the.
So he's confident that the people trying to go north and turn left at Faraday to make a U-turn to get into this new property will not create any queuing problems.
He didn't believe so.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Gary, did you?
Yeah, one other
Okay.
question. The motel that was previously approved by this commission south of here, will there be another entrance to that? Or will that motel use the same entrance that this property will utilize from Melrose?
The property to the south, the Hilton Garden Inn property, that will have its own entrance as well.
Okay,
So it'll be addition to the one being shared by the Hyatt Place and the 2 drive-throughs.
because I drove by, there is not one now, and I just wanted to make sure. All right, thank you.
Rafi, in your report, you mentioned that the 15 spaces on the south side would be limited to 2 hours of parking.
Correct.
Is that 15 spaces reserved for customers? How's this going to work? I'm sorry, I missed it in the staff report.
And I can call the applicant up to better.
Could you pull the mic a bit closer to you? My ears are getting old.
Yeah, so it's going to be on-peak, off-peak hours with a shared parking on the, for the 15 parking spaces on the Hilton Garden Inn property, being the 2-hour limit. So during the day, the hotel is not at peak usage. And so if people at the restaurants need to park in those spaces, they have 2 hours to park, and then they can leave after that, and vice versa for the evening hours.
Okay. All right. And you guys are comfortable that that's all going to work together?
Yeah, we are pretty confident.
All right. Any other questions? No one on my speaker slips. Then I will open the public hearing. I have no speaker slips for the item, so I'll close the public hearing and open it up to commissioner discussion. Well, while they're getting organized, let me, Rafi, could you pull up or I guess, Ms. Chow, could you pull up the architectural elevations for the second restaurant, please? There we go. My concern is the east elevation, number 1. It appears to me that the back of the restaurant is facing the public right-of-way on Melrose. And I like the solution that was done on Dutch Brothers better. There are no doors, and I believe it's faux glass that's put on there. I would prefer to see that on the rear elevation here than the 2 doors that are going in. I believe it's an electrical room on the backside, and that could be moved to the side pretty easily, I think. So that was, Commissioners, that's my only concern. And I was a little concerned. Ms. Chow, could you give us a site plan for the project? Yeah, go back to that one. Very good. If you look at the crosshatched pedestrian walkways in the parking lot, they've done a pretty good job of identifying pedestrian routes on the future restaurant, but from the 15 spaces to the south across the coffee store, it's not so well defined, and I think they need to do a better job in defining that walkway. So those were, besides Faraday and Melrose, those were my 2 major concerns on the project. Commissioner Grimm.
Yes, Chairman Rosser, I had the same concerns about that too. I don't know if that side of the building needs to be all glass, but it would certainly be nice to have either on the bottom or on the top, something that just kind of break that wall up. But I shared the same concerns as you had on that.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. So I think the project should be conditioned to move the doors on the second restaurant and provide some faux glass on that back side so it looks more like the front, and then a defined pedestrian walkway across the double drive-through aisles from the 15 spaces to the future drive-through restaurant. Anyone else agree?
Might just be you and me.
Commissioner Garrettson.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It would seem to me that there should be a walkway from the hotel too, because I'm assuming they're anticipating that being a big part of their customer base. And I don't see any walkway from either the Hyatt or the Hilton.
All right. Commissioner Looney.
I think walkways are good. However, because it's an individual property, we don't have to provide an accessible pathway, excuse me, from the hotel lots to this lot. If you're talking about just a standard sidewalk, that might be accommodated, but just be mindful that accessible, someone that's is not very mobile or has an issue with vision, that won't be required by the city.
Okay.
So,
All right. I wasn't so concerned about accessibility as a defined route, so that people that are coming into the double drive-through would be aware that there could be pedestrians coming from those parking spaces. So just the additional striping would be fine in my view. All right, any other comments? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Chairman Rosler, if you have any questions for the applicant too, if you have any need clarifications, the applicant is present to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, and I would just add, with respect to any conditions that would require access from the other property, which they don't have complete control over, we'd want to get their input on whether that condition is achievable.
All right. Like I said, I'm just concerned about the 15 spaces and having access to the two drive-throughs. The applicant understand our concern? Okay. Any problems?
Do I need to turn this on? Or? Good evening. Hey, Barrett Bradley with Newmark Merrill, Chair, Rosler, and Commissioners. Appreciate you guys considering our project and for your time. And thanks to planning staff. I think the question makes sense to us. I mean, I think we want to provide a pathway for pedestrians getting out of their cars to more easily walk over to the storefronts of the two buildings. Is that right?
That's it?
Yeah, I think that's achievable. Obviously the crosswalks and the areas that you see hatched on our site plan are for ADA accessibility. But we could, provide a cut through one of the landscape medians and do a couple of things to just try to make it a little bit more pedestrian friendly, for sure.
Super. Very good.
Thank you.
That's what I'm after. Okay. All right, Commissioner Savage.
Yeah, I just want to concur that I think that the direction for the access for pedestrians to Dutch Brothers from those parking stalls at the hotel, I think going through the landscaping, just to clarify, just put it out there, I think that would probably be the most optimum. I know it's going to be through the drive-through, so obviously it's a little design element, but I think I would prefer that because also hopefully the vehicles are going, there's less of a chance that they're speeding than putting it over towards the entrance to that. So I just want to clarify that through the landscaping might be the best option.
Very good. Oh, thank you. Peter, any comments tonight? Thank you, Charlie.
I think I'll be quick on this one, but on the south side of the project, where it would connect to Melrose in the east, there doesn't seem to be a sidewalk that connects that section of the property to Melrose. I think I can see that on the north side with the sidewalk coming from Melrose into the property. So I think some consideration to connect the south side to Melrose as well could make it more pedestrian friendly as well.
There was a project to the south that was a hotel the commission approved a couple of years ago, and it has that pedestrian connection, if I recall correctly.
Okay, so that access would be through the southern project.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I think he had that up there earlier. I think he had that Hilton one up there earlier.
Right.
Maybe you could put that back up.
Ms. Chow, okay.
I don't see a sidewalk.
I believe it's indicated on the left corner to the entry drive. You'll see it with a dashed line. That's probably the ADA path of travel from the sidewalk to the front door of the hotel.
Where? Here? Oh, there. Okay, now I see it.
Commissioner Hastings.
Just to continue on this, so there is no public sidewalk along the front of Melrose there? And is that the, this white, that is it, okay. And so the intention is that if you're coming south on that public sidewalk to get to Dutch Brothers, that you would go all the way down and then go in and up?
So there are public sidewalks along South Melrose Drive, and the project does propose a connection through the shared driveway. So that it does show a shared, the shared driveway does have a walkway.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, that will connect South Melrose Drive to the project.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are we good? All right. Okay, are we ready for a motion? Commissioner Looney.
I'll make a motion to approve the project with the condition that on the east elevation of building number 2, that it'll be modified to be more architectural aesthetically matching what we have on the west elevation.
Okay. And the walkway through the driveway, or through the,
Correct, and to work out an arrangement with the 2 adjacent property owners for a pedestrian path that's painted possibly on the paving or through the landscape areas.
right. Very good. Commissioner Hastings.
I'll second that.
All right. There's a motion and a second to approve the project with 2 additional conditions. Please cast your vote and lock it in. Oh, it comes up here. Maybe? And the motion passes unanimously. So thank you very much. Congratulations. And we will move on then to our action item tonight. While staff shifting around, let me give you a heads up from my past experience in doing this. Whoever makes the motion tonight should do one of 2 things: either say staff recommendation or read specifically the title of the resolution. Staff will get very upset with you if you go roaming in the off in the wilderness. So, Ms. Chow, are you doing the presentation?
Yes, Chairman. Is it okay if I stay up here? I can certainly go down there.
Fine. No,
Okay.
you're good.
Sounds good. It will save me some miles here. All right, so the item before you tonight is an action item regarding capital improvement program for both fiscal years 22-23, 23-24. And basically, the CIP program, as you all know, is a plan, an associated budget, a document that covers a 6-year period for capital improvement projects. Per state law, as the Planning Commission, you are required to basically give a recommendation to the City Council as far as the conformity of the CIP projects with the general plan. And so in the staff report, we've included basically the new projects because otherwise we'll be here all night reviewing old projects and new projects. So right now in this particular, for these 2 fiscal years, we have a total of 11 new projects that are before you in this particular 6 categories, which is basically parks and rec, streets, traffic signals, drainage, Vista sewer, and Buena district sewer. So starting with the first project, we have basically the skate park, which is identified here. I basically pulled it out of the staff report as far as the total, the project total for $80,000 is, and all of these, just a reminder, there are new appropriations, not shown as carryover from prior years. So this is the skate park, construction of a shade structure at North Santa Fe and Connecticut. The next one is the Weave Park, which is a Luiseno place. It's over by Monarch, that project, Townsite Drive, basically going on East Vista Way. And that's the location of the proposed park. And also the project totals identified there as approximately 700,000 for that. And that will actually offer residents access to exercise and supplement to Buena Vista Trail. There will be, according to the informational sheet, 8 outdoor fitness equipment stations to be placed around this 3-mile loop park. The next one is the Vista Sports Park. It's a turf replacement, so that kind of speaks for itself. And basically, the park is open to various leagues and open free play, so they're just going to be replacing the turf on both soccer fields for this park. About 185,000 square feet altogether, and total price on that one, 1.6 million, as far as the construction involvement here. The next project up is the Foothill Drive and Oak Drive intersection improvements. So this is basically currently controlled by an all-way stop. And there is some unusual geometry here on this particular project. There's high traffic volumes. And so therefore, according to a Safe Routes to School master plan, they've identified some preliminary concepts for full-scale roundabout, another alternative for a mini roundabout. So the project is going to actually do further evaluation on this for concepts and provide a safe and cost-effective roundabout solution to address issues about the geometry, the high traffic volumes, et cetera. The price tag on that one is about $867,000. The next project up is Vista Village Drive and West Vista Way pedestrian crossing improvements for $180,000. And there's currently does not exist a pedestrian crossing at this location. And so that's obviously going to improve that situation on the north leg of the intersection and shorten the actual crossing distance and making pedestrians more visible and less impact on the signal operations. The next project is the traffic signal on Beaubier and Calle Jules. And that is actually just basically installing, as the title says, a traffic signal, ADA curb ramps at that intersection, Beaubier Drive and Calle Jules. And the project total on that one's $550,000. The next one is the what's called the California Mandated Trash Cleanup, another acronym for you there, CMTC, device installations, and they're basically associated with trash capture, as you see the device identified on the picture there. And the purpose is installing all these trash capture devices throughout the city, storm drain systems, and removing solid waste that's larger than 5 millimeters. So it's really catching a lot of stuff. And they are required by the State Water Resource Control Board and San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board, as called a trash order. The price tag on that one is about 6.5 million for that, for installation of those capture devices throughout the storm drain system. Next project is the sewer master plan, and that is, was last updated in 2017, so update is in order and accounting for changes in land use regulations and leading to that is leading actually to increased urban density, I'm sorry, from accessory dwelling units and duplex constructions. As we all know it, a lot of activity or movement on those associated to those. So that's the update that's required, and the price total on that one's $240,000. The next project is the Buena Creek Pump Station, some mechanical modifications to the system, and that is $775,000 approximately. Also, new appropriation. The next project up is the Valocetos Failsafe Outfall, and that one is basically rehabilitation, replacing multiple sewer segments throughout Valocetos Failsafe Outfall. Valocetos is the lead agency here, and Carlsbad, San Marcos, and Buena Sanitation District have capacity ownership here. And Buena Sanitation's share is 50% of the Buena reach and 16% of the Carlsbad reach. The price tag on that one is about $1.7 million. Next project is the Valocetos land outfall rehabilitation. And it involves rehabilitating multiple sewer segments throughout the Valocetos land outfall. Again, Valocetos is the lead agency, and Carlsbad and Buena Sanitation District have capacity ownership on that one, for a total project price identified as $300,000. And that concludes the list of the projects. And the recommendations is really about making a finding the conformity of these projects with the City of Vista's general plan as identified in the staff report for the particular categories that they fall under and the policies associated with that. And that concludes the staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chow. This is not a public hearing, but we will open it for public testimony if there's anyone that wishes to speak. If not, we will open it up to commissioner discussion. Ms. Chow, back to the trash capture devices. $260,000 this year and $270,000 roughly next year, and then it continues all the way out to 27, 28. So we're going to be installing these throughout the city over the next period of time?
Yes, correct, Chairman Rosley, because the appropriations identified and then projected into the future until 27, 28 fiscal year. As you see, the amounts listed throughout the years, and obviously breaking that down, the installation and the scheduling for device and installation of devices throughout the projected fiscal years.
Okay. And these things go in where all drainage inlets come from our curb and gutter?
It's a 5-year program that we have to fund, and yes, it's a rollout over time because there's so many of them. We have to hire a consultant to come in and help us implement all of it and maintain them all, so we're not doing it all at once. This is funding that goes through your trash bill or your EDCO bill that we put on there starting this year to collect money for this purpose because it's a state mandate that we have to accomplish.
Very good. Our EDCO bill seemingly has gone up a little bit every month for the last, from $40 up to almost 60 or over 60 now. So yeah.
That's why.
That's why. Okay, very good. All right, any other questions? Commissioner Grimm?
Yeah, I had a comment and a question. The comment is just it looks like another state mandate on that, but they provided no funding relative to the trash.
Oh, yeah, exactly, the usual.
Yeah, absolutely, okay. That was a rhetorical question, but
Commissioner Grimm, or Garrison.
I had one more
I'm sorry.
question.
Commissioner Grimm?
Just, was there any discussion when the council and the staff were putting this together about the need for any more pickleball courts in the city?
So we are actively looking for new park sites, and pickleball courts is one of the things that they're looking for. They're talking about converting tennis courts, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
But we are still actively searching for park sites. The problem is, as soon as we identify a site that we want to purchase for a park, we have to purchase it right away. We can't really make it public because it drives the price up of the park. So the planning for parks and the accomplishing land purchases is a fine line to walk, but we are actively searching for sites right now.
That's good. The problem used to be, it was just old people playing. Now the young people are playing. It's horrible.
Yeah. It's become incredibly popular.
Commissioner Garrison.
Yes, I have a question about the park over by Monarch. Where are people going to park for those who are want to use that other than people who live at Monarch? This looks like an amenity for Monarch.
So this is, yes, it's an amenity for Monarch and an amenity for the public. It's a public park. This is the former detention basin property that, as you know, we were unable to develop. And so in an effort to activate the area that we can't develop and prohibit homelessness or other vagrancy problems in that area, we determined that a park improvement would be the best thing. It's a limited space and it's connected to the trail. So our expectation is that the majority of users of this park are going to be users of the trail or people that live in the area that want to come down and use it. We don't expect it's going to be a location that's going to drive traffic into the site. There is a parking lot just down the trail next to the Monarch development that used to be the access into the mobile home park, right there next to the 99-cent store. That's the nearest parking if someone wanted to use the park, or they could park on Townsite Drive.
Okay, thank you. One other question concerning the name of the park. Is that the official name of the park? Has that been named?
We had to have an agreement with the San Luis Rey Band of Mission Indians because they have the resources that that are going to remain there. And part of the agreement was to name it Weave. That's has some meaning to their tribe.
Good enough. Thank you.
There's more to it, which I'll explain when we bring the park forward. I just don't have it at the top of my head right now.
Thank you. One other question. The Buena Creek pumping station, they're doing a lot of work over there now. I assume that's more with piping, and this is more with mechanical modifications.
That's correct, yeah. The project that's underway right now is a replacement of the line from Green Oak Ranch to the pump station. The next improvement will be the pump station itself, and then we'll go back into the ranch and do a project east of there.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Looney.
Yes, I've got two questions. One for the skate park shade structure. What's the average life of that fabric that will be put over the park?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's going to be fabric. Is that what the CIP says? So we looked at fabric as a possibility, but we were concerned about kids throwing stuff on it that could light it on fire. So I don't know if it's going to be a fabric. If it is, it'll be a fireproof type of material, but it's probably going to be a metal cover of some kind. It still sort of remains to be seen what the final design is going to be. We just have a problem with shade there that we need to solve in some way. It's probably not going to be a traditional shade structure because if you put it where it would normally go, it won't shade anything. So it'll probably be some kind of vertical elements, maybe along the fence that shade portions of the park, but we're still trying to figure out the best way to do it.
Okay, that'll be good to see it, something other than fabric, because I think you're going to have a maintenance issue.
Yeah, that's our problem. We have maintenance issues there right now with everything that we put there, so.
John, I think what it does say here, impact on operating budget. Additional maintenance costs include periodic replacement of the shade cloth and costs related to vandalism, graffiti, and abatement. So I'm not sure, but it says exploring options for shade structure, so
Yeah.
that
so
kind
we're
of
still
gives the idea
looking
they're
at-
looking at it, right?
Yeah, and the structure itself and where it would go, it's a little bit of a moving part, but when we have a design, we can bring it back to you if you'd like to know.
That'd be good. I'd like to see it. The second point is on the Vista Sports Park, turf replacement. How long has that turf performed?
We built the park in 2012, I think, so it's 10 years.
Okay. And is there something built into our budget to where there's an annual contribution to that fee to replace it in the next 10 years?
Yeah, there's a replacement fund that we fund annually to replace all of our synthetic turf fields.
Okay, great. That's all that I had. Thank you.
All right. Okay, if there are no further questions, would someone like to venture a motion? Commissioner Hastings.
Well, you did kind of scare me with, with the wording. You can help
Okay.
with the wording, right?
Either say staff recommendation or read this.
Okay. I move that we adopt the staff recommendation.
Very good. Is there a second? Commissioner Savage?
I would second that.
All right. Commissioners, it's been moved and seconded to find the CIP in conformity with the general plan. Please cast your vote and lock it in. And it's approved unanimously of the commissioners here. Very good. All right, so moving ahead, any reports or comments from the commissioners? If not, Mr. Connolly, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We will have a meeting on the 17th of May. We'll have one early design review project, which promises to be a fun one. It includes a general plan and zone change request that went to council, I think, late last year for a property over off Guajomie and Lado de Loma. It used to be called the Pheasant Hill specific plan, so that's going to come back. The council had a workshop today on community choice energy and directed staff to prepare a resolution to join the Clean Energy Alliance, which is a JPA of various cities. So we're going to move forward with that. We'll come back to the council in June. I also mentioned the inclusionary housing item, which will include a policy that we're developing, and we'll come back to the Planning Commission first with that, probably in the summertime before it goes back to council. I think that's about it, unless you can think of...
Small lot?
Oh, the small lot development standards that came to you at the last meeting will be going to council for final approval at the next meeting on the 10th of May. And that's all I have.
Okay. I noticed in the news that the National APA, American Planning Association Conference, was in San Diego. Did you guys get to attend? Did we have a tour of Paseo Santa Fe?
It was in San Diego, but no, we did not attend. We normally don't do the national conference. We do the state conference typically.
Okay.
Because the state of California issues are typically so much more complex than the national ones.
Yeah.
But a few of my friends in the industry went down there. That most of the tours and things were in San Diego. Nothing made it up to North County that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Any other questions of Mr. Conley? All right. Very good. If there's nothing more, we stand adjourned till May 17th. All right. Did you?
I'm sorry. I am. Oh, gosh. You guys had a year this year. We did. We'll give you one. It's been a while. It's been a while. Thank you.
From what then?
So we spent a day and a half cruising in circles around San Diego.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny, I did some stuff in the backyard this weekend, and I go to the gym. In the gym, I do my leg workouts on Monday morning, and I woke up and my lower back was hurting. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to press it, so I went light that day. But yeah, I was feeling it pretty good on Monday, but nothing like that to where it was that. Oh, no. Wow. Oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Warm yourself up before you get into it. Your shoes are okay, awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the starting point, but yeah. Yeah. Shoes, the whole thing all together, yeah, yeah. Huh, yeah. Maybe you just over-exert yourself.
So, yeah, so thanks for asking.
What's up?
Good to see you, John.
They got the same notice we got. The evaluation that they're gonna do.
No. It's just the council is indicating either a 1% sales tax increase or legalizing recreational. Yes, that's what it was. That's what was on the news. It was popping. It's like, dude, if you want to make money, go for the sales tax measure. Marijuana shit ain't gonna make you any money. Everybody's flooding the market.
See, I think that's, they identify that. Is that crazy or what? Kid was out, that's what they're talking about, the fact that they had such a difficult time during COVID, and that's it, because they're all tourist places, right? Look at everything's bouncing back, they're not gonna have it. That's what I was gonna ask you, they have like 100%. Yeah, 100%, yeah. I mean, really? They might just take the opportunity. Yeah, I said the thing about cannabis, I didn't know that they were talking to sales tax. They voted no, both of them. Yeah, because they didn't want to increase taxes for the residents, so they voted no on the. Oh, only for the people that live outside Carlsbad. You have to show your resident card when you go shopping in Carlsbad, so they can charge you your extra sales tax if you don't have it. No, they give you one too because they didn't want to impact the residents. World class, baby.
That's cool, I'm glad for that.
The marijuana thing. Well, if they pass a sales tax. But I thought the marijuana thing was funny. You're right. I said you took it to a point where. That's a lot of go.
I still think people are passing the rent because they're under the cannabis. There's been so many rent cards. I don't know how these know, but this is not like. Yes. I saw like we go. It's still 2 minutes. Yes. You're going on a rent?
Yeah, but I think that's the thing, that they go on 76.
But it's not as prevalent.
I think it will just have more people on this word like
Well, they're sleeping. They're smoking.
So you're creating a correlation between. All I know is Carlsbad is the best city for catching stolen cars because every single one of their police cruisers. Oh, if you have a stolen car in that city, they're going to pick you up in about 2 minutes. And they haven't posted all around the city. So we get calls, the Vista sheriff gets calls almost every day. Oh, we just. When you go in Carlsbad or out of Carlsbad, there's a from Buena Vista. And on the south end in Carlsbad, on PCH, coming in and out. So they're identifying stolen vehicles. So if you don't have a stolen car, don't go in Carlsbad. Patsy, you stole a car.
If you get caught, you're like,
But hey, but the red light thing, I was telling each other this about. When I go to the gym, I want to take it work. I let it go green, I go one way, I go the other way.
Wait 5 seconds.
I let the other way before. Yeah, right out here, actually.
Are you kidding? On City Center Drive? I got almost 2 years ago.
You gotta look up that hill.
But this was Carrie. It was like I was totally on that. It was like 2 seconds. Then I'm telling you, I saw from the corner of my eye, I said, what is that? It was like dark gray. And then this guy was just like, whoa, and I was like, I said, okay, my heart's coming out of my mouth right now. I said, so I called the sheriff. I said, okay, I was trying to like walk to the car. No,
There you go. Hey, when you passage out.
But the next traffic light, he stopped. I called the sheriff's department. Say, where's it? Give part. Yeah. Oh, I did. I said, well, he's gonna kill somebody. If I went in here, I know that I'll be here.
No, I get it. I totally get it. The rough one is going south on Vista Village on the Civic Center in the morning. Because that queuing goes all the way back to.
Vista Way to Civic Center?
This way.
Vista Way to Civic Center.
That's right.
Yeah, that's when I
That's horrible. Because everybody tries to make that turn. It goes red, and then it goes green this direction. Those guys sit there like, okay, what's going on? Yeah, because they block the whole. Because they block the